Paul Lacey here, and we're talking today about landing page design. And whether you're a content writer or a web designer or a business owner, there are different challenges around building high converting or converting at all landing pages. So I've been through that process myself, so I'm just going to try and help people understand what I've gone through that's helped me build much better converting landing pages that get approved by clients much quicker, and generally landing pages that make a difference on the internet. I think that's it. Hello. Nice to see everybody. Some old friends here as well, so that's really cool. Dan and Paul and the whole team, Giles, thank you so much for keep doing this. I don't know where you get the energy to keep setting these things up. And if it wasn't for you guys inviting me back every few years, I'd probably never leave the house. So anyway, we're going to have a quick talk today. There's a lot of slides, but I'm going to be absolutely whizzing through them. We're not covering anything at a high detail level here. It's just kind of basic stuff. So as I'm going through, just start thinking about any landing pages that you work on yourselves. So Dan, thank you for getting people used to putting their hands up. I've got a few hands up moments. Has anybody here worked on a sales landing page? I'm hoping a fair few people have. Has anybody not worked on a sales landing page as such? Yep. Okay, cool. Well, you might do in the future. So this one's for you. How many people here are a web designer, developer, or some variation of that name? Yep, a fair few people. I don't remember when there was like wars over whether or not you were officially a developer or you were a HTML coder. Remember that years ago? But anyway, we're all kind of doing the same thing now anyway. So how about people who do that sort of thing? I tend to find that the biggest problem people have is if they've got a genuine important page to build where they're going to get kind of rated on how well they did it, that it's kind of stressful to have that pressure of creating a page that needs to convert, because if it doesn't convert, what are you going to do, sort of thing? And usually it's not your fault because somebody screwed it up for you after you did a fantastic page. But anyway, we're going to try and address that for the web designers. Also, anybody here copywriter? Yeah. So some people have got multi things here. So let's have a look. Copywriter. So you're normally the last person to get consulted, right, on the project, but you're normally supposed to be the first, I would imagine. So that seems to be the big problem that we find with copywriters, and also that copywriters need a little bit of help with layout and stuff like that. So we're going to try and deal with that as well. Anybody here, and you can also be a web designer and a business owner, so I imagine a few of you are. But so if you are that category, don't put your hand up for this one. Anybody who's like a business, I didn't ask the question yet. Anybody who's kind of like a business owner or works for a company, but they're not a copywriter and they're not a web designer. Any people like that? Yep. Great. Okay, cool. And for those people, probably the biggest problem with landing pages is just knowing even where to start as such. And all right. So one of the things we're going to look at today is just going to kind of recognize, and we'll see as we go through, that there is actually a science and psychology that you can leverage on landing pages. And that's just something that we're going to explore with different frameworks today. All right. So the good thing about if you do leverage this kind of technique that we're going to cover today is that so many websites out there don't actually do it. So if you do actually do it, then you'll already be above a lot of the competition that your landing pages are competing against. The one thing I've noticed about sales landing pages is they are difficult. They're not easy. They're not like, for instance, a contact page, a home page, a blog page, or an about page, which tend to be kind of relatively functional. You just kind of look at another about page, contact page, or something like that, and you just generally know, well, I'm going to have a map and a form and that kind of thing. And on the about page, maybe you'll have a team or something like that. But they're not really converting pages, so you don't need to worry too much. There's not too much stress associated with them. Whereas with a sales page, you really need to have some kind of intricate knowledge of the customer, the sales strategy, graphic design, and copywriting, which is not something that most of us have all of those skills. So it's quite difficult for us to do that and know all those things. So web designer is good on graphics, maybe a little bit of copywriting. Copywriter is obviously good on copywriting and less so on graphics. But these things all need to come together on a sales page for it to be super effective. So if you don't have an effective page, the downside is no conversions. So that could mean no sales, no donations, no leads, no subscribers, no votes, no engagement, nothing, no nothing. Just may as well not exist as a page in some cases. Especially if you're firing ads at that page, you're paying money for that. It's kind of like, what was the point? The only thing though is that it does need to exist because your competition has probably got one that is doing better than yours if yours is ineffective. So you need to have that page and it needs to be effective as such. The thing is, it doesn't actually have to be like this. So what we're going to do is demystify the process of designing effective landing pages today. And we're going to look at the key elements and the approaches for success with all your landing pages in the future. And then you can be a landing page legend. All right, so we're going to look at a few, we're just going to look at one of the frameworks actually, but these are some of the things. Anybody heard of some of these frameworks? I imagine a fair few have heard of these. There's the PAS, problem, agitate, solution, or pain, agitate, solution, sometimes known as. As the IDA, attention, interest, desire, action. We'll come back to these in a bit anyway. Storybrand, I tend to feel is a bit of a cross between the pain, problem, agitate, solution, but also has another letter on it, which is H for hero. So it's kind of like addresses the pain and the solution for an end user, but also looks at making the user themselves the hero of the story. And then you got etc. That's not actually a framework, so don't Google that. That's just 3 letters, which means there are more frameworks out there. Google the other ones though. Anyway, who am I? Paul, another one. So we've got plenty of these today. I'm a designer. I previously used to own an agency, and I also used to be a big WordPress advocate and enthusiast. I still am an advocate and an enthusiast. And I used to do a lot of podcasting. I got some friends over there, Vito and Andrew. We used to do lots of live streams and podcasts together. Good times. So it's great to see you guys here. And then I kind of decided to drop a lot of that stuff. So I shut down my agency and I kind of ejected from doing all that live stream stuff to just spend some time doing some other things. So that is kind of like spending time with family, and they're a bit older than that now. This one's 16 and has got a boyfriend, which is a bit weird. It's difficult. I wonder what they're doing now, actually. These are my dogs. When I was doing all the live streaming and stuff like that, we just had this one here, Ellie, and it was manageable. And when I stopped doing all that stuff, one of the cool things was we decided to get more dogs, because you can't really do live streaming and too much podcasting because they just trigger each other. So a small noise out the front and they're all off, sort of thing. So there's Ellie and Fleur and Mary there. We also got a bunch of cats. It is about landing pages at some point. We've got a bunch of chickens. We've got 2 of these orange ones and 4 of these little ones here. We've also got 2 rabbits, 3 fish, and a horse on loan. So we kind of changed direction from, my wife also quit teaching around the same time and started a business as well. I also love gaming. That's another thing about me. You can see here my favorite game, 394 hours. If I hadn't had to prepare this particular talk today, I probably would have hit the big 400. So there's a mod that I want to try, so I want to get back on that soon as well. I'm embarrassed to say, and I played Fortnite with Oogs here as well, but I probably put more hours into Fortnite than I have into The Witcher 3. So that's embarrassing, but time well spent, I think. The other thing I wanted to do when I left all that stuff, like being an agency owner and doing all the podcasting and stuff, was I just was feeling very, very stretched, and I wanted to get much more focused in on being just a better designer again. I've been like a CEO type job as an agency owner, and I was doing all this podcasting stuff, and I was starting to feel like I was losing my kind of focus on what I was actually talking about, whether it was to clients or on live streams and stuff like that. So I just kind of got back into doing my own thing as such. Okay, so we're going to look at a case study today, and we need a guinea pig for that particular case study. This is Susie here. She's no longer with us, I'm afraid. Very cute though. So the case study we're going to look at is Simply Hen. This is my wife's business that she started when she left teaching. A lot of people leaving teaching, sadly, but a lot of them are doing some pretty cool stuff. So Simply Hen is a hen party organizing company. There's plenty of those out there. And essentially, if somebody's getting married, what they'll typically do is get somebody to organize the hen party for them. It's often the kind of the bride's best friend or something like that, and they typically will want to organize something like a dance class or that kind of thing. So Simply Hen is an agency that works with suppliers with dance classes, Adonis, Cabaret, Dream Boys, or all of these things. We're actually going to focus on the dance classes rather than the Adonis and the Dream Boys because it's not safe for the presentation. So we have to be careful with the kids sometimes, the things we've got on our screen. So we're going to look at a case study for my wife's website, because the lovely thing about working on her website versus client work is you tend to be able to do what you want and use these kind of things, whether it's personalization or frameworks for landing pages and stuff like that. And nobody's going to kind of derail it because the boss's cousin said that this was a better idea or something. In terms of my professional life these days as a freelance designer, I look after about 100 websites on WordPress care plans and those kind of things. I freelance for some WordPress companies, Beaver Builder. If anyone know Beaver Builder? I know a couple of you guys do. Yeah, anybody use Beaver Builder? Nice. So anyone who's using it, do check out the new box module, because that's really awesome. Okay. So I do that kind of thing, and then I'm a retainer with a few other companies as well. But nowadays, instead of being a CEO, I'm much more in the trenches, doing the design, doing UX, doing all this kind of cool stuff. Okay, right, the product we're going to look at today is a safe one, I think. So hopefully all these pictures are okay. Which is hen party dance classes, which, as you can see, what typically happens is somebody wants to do a dance class with their group of hens, and a hen, by the way, is the group of people who are part of the party to celebrate the upcoming marriage of their friend. And you can see that there's like different styles of dance classes that people can do. So they can do 8 tiers, 9 tiers, Beyonce single ladies, this kind of stuff. And we help get that organized and take payment, and then we work with different agencies to deliver that particular product. This is our current typical conversion figures. So what you can see here, if you add those percentages up, it comes to roughly about 2% or something. So we have like roughly around 2% conversion rate, which we felt was a little bit low, and we wanted to address that. What you can see here as well is that around half of our conversions come through the inline inquiry form, and then the other half are coming through chat-based things, so clicking on the WhatsApp or clicking on the Facebook Messenger chat. But the problem you can see when you go back to the page, if we wait for it to go back to the top, is that this page is kind of more like a data sheet than a sales page. It just has the stuff that we got from the supplier, and we just put it on the page, and then we just hope for the best. And after a few years of doing this now, we've realized we can do better than that. So there's the stats, around 2%, and we'll see how that changes. By the way, we haven't launched the new page yet, so I can't give you yeah, it worked, and we're now on 10. That's what we're hoping for as well. So much like the personalization stuff that Paul was talking about earlier, the main thing when you're working on a landing page, one of the main things is to know your user, bless you, and who they are. You also really want to get to know what their hopes and fears are, and what is a success and what is a failure for them. So this is making it about them rather than your product. So that's more important than your product. Also, perhaps what device preferences they typically have is very important as well. And then looking at our particular, this is some information about what we've discovered about our users, is that they generally don't read emails in full. They don't read booking confirmations. That's really frustrating. They don't read invoices or editorial in general. And we wondered, like, why is that? Like, why perhaps? Anybody have any idea why that might be? Yes. Yep, it's just information overload all the time. Yep. That, and another factor that we've realized as well is, I know that, mobile is like hugely growing device preference, but on our website, it's over 95% of users are on mobile. And what we found on mobile, which kind of tracks with what you said as well, is that this is a device that is typically loaded with apps that is constantly trying to divert your attention from whatever it is that you were just doing to pull you back into Facebook, to pull you back into Instagram, TikTok, or whatever it is. So they just don't read the emails that are coming in on their phone. They don't really read the website, and all they do is ask questions that we already told them the answer to a number of times. So we know that we need to be really concise, snappy, and we've got to fight for their attention using whatever dirty tricks we can. Also, our audience base is 99% women, generally aged between 20 and 50. They're not willing participants, usually in this, which is kind of an odd situation. That, if I was going to buy a new guitar or something, I'm totally willing participant in this situation. And I just need to be very secretive about it. But I know what I want. But in this case, they usually didn't choose willingly to be the organizer. They just happened to be the sister or future sister-in-law or best friend or something of the person who is getting married. And they're tasked with the job of creating a memorable day for the group and the bride that everybody will remember in a positive way. They're more motivated by the fear or the even terror of screwing it up and the day being a dud, even worse, a drama, or not even happening, which is good news for us because we can leverage that. So we're not selling a dance class, and this is something that any of the products that you're selling as well, always think, what am I actually selling? Am I selling this widget or this service or the happy ending that they want from using that product or service? So we're selling the avoidance of failure and the chance to be the hero for the day. We will make our user the hero. Right. So the secret here really is to make friends with a copywriting framework, whether you're a designer, a business owner, or a copywriter yourself. Pick one of the frameworks, like PAS, which is Problem, Agitation, Solution, which we'll go into some detail on that. Explain Pain, Agitate, Solution first for anybody who doesn't know what that is. So Pain, Agitate, Solution is to identify the problem that the user or the customer potentially has. Then you agitate it a little bit to make it even worse. And then you provide the solution to that. So for instance, this baseball cap is a great example. So the problem is bald, shiny head. Agitation, look sweaty and kind of pasty in front of everybody while you're doing the talk. Solution is this cool hat, which you can look cool in front of everybody. It solves the problem, and now everything's fine. I hope it is anyway. So what you want to tend to do with the Storybrand thing is you add the hero in there. So you not only solve the problem for them, you also make them the hero of the end goal of that. So not only did they kind of get a satisfying ending from it, they also got kind of celebration from every other stakeholder involved. And your website, or you, the seller of a product, becomes like the spirit guide for them. This is in the typical Storybrand situation that will help make that positive change happen. Quick disclaimer for anybody who does know the PAS or the Storybrand systems really well. You probably know them better than I do. So I put my own spin on these things, and that's what I recommend everybody else does. Like, find one of the frameworks, whether it's Pain, Agitate, Solution, or Storybrand. Storybrand's a really good one to start with. And have a look through it and see what works for you and what doesn't, and then make your adjustments, which is what I've done with this particular case study. So we're going to look straight at some of these aspects of the website now. So what we're moving into now is the redesign of that kind of data sheet page that we saw before, but we're going to look at what we did using Storybrand to make it much better and hopefully convert a lot more users. There's 10 points that we're going to go through. So it's quite easy to remember when you look up one of these things. Storybrand tends to be kind of anything between 7 to 10 different sections, and you kind of take them in that particular order, and then it makes it nice and easy to do. So number 1, value and top benefits. This is a typical thing you'll see at the top of a Storybrand or Pain, Agitate, Solution influence website. So here we go. If you remember our old web page, I'm sure you didn't read it too much, but it just said dance class, here are the stuff that you can do. So we know that the thing that they want to do is they need to, the dance class or the hen party is normally the beginning of the weekend. This will be the thing they do in the daytime before they go out for a meal or before they go out drinking or whatever else they're doing in the evening. So you need to get the party started, and that's what that person's job is, to get the party started. So I'm going to get the party started with a hen party dance class. So in one line, we're saying we'll solve the problem with the thing that we've got. So what you don't want to just have here is hen party dance class, which is tempting because that'll probably be quite good for SEO. But see if you can work it into a statement that also is kind of more intriguing for the user. You can, if you're struggling to fit it in just one line, you can add a kind of supplemental statement, which says here, make your hen party an experience to remember with a dance class packed with fun and giggles. So if you are the person tasked with organizing this, then the cool ending for this is that everybody's happy, laughing, groups of people who you might be worried that they're not even going to get on with each other, but they're all having fun and giggles, and that's it. And then what you can typically do, and what you'll see on a Storybrand type website, is to then highlight some of the key benefits stroke features. So the things that you know about your customer that they are probably in particularly worried about. So first of all, we're telling them that this is our most popular and loved activity, because it is. So you've already kind of got the group mentality that that they know that many other people are choosing this particular product. Venue hire is included. Big question we get over and over again. Beyonce to Bollywood, there's tons of different themes that you can choose from. The bride goes free, well, as long as the group's big enough. That's why I got a little star there. And it's a super low deposit for the whole group. So it's answering some of the key things that we get over and over again as questions. And then, call to action with the price. So we've been upfront about the price. Also got a video, which I haven't made yet, but we're going to make it. And that's going to kind of just reinforce what's going on here. So this is the top part of the website that straight away we need to get the really key information in there right at the beginning. As you remember, 95% of our users are mobile. So I know in an ideal scenario, we would all be designing with a mobile first type mentality. Does anybody actually do that? Yeah, well done. Not many people do it because it's hard. It's hard to kind of visualize putting lots of stuff into a small space. But what you can do is you can design your desktop design, and then you go, right, that's nice and concise. That's got the messages I need. And then you can go, right, let's before I make the rest of this page, let's get that bit sorted on mobile. Make sure it all fits, make sure it makes sense. And we've got the call to action, all the points, everything fits in the top section of their phone. All right, second section, safety in numbers. This is simply showing the user that people have been here before in their shoes, and it went really well when they went with us. Okay, so you're basically kind of showing that this is going to work for you too. So they were you before, now they were the hero. You're the one with the problem. You can be the hero. So some nice testimonials to back up what you are claiming your product does. Then you get into the naughty bit, I like to think, which is the problem and the agitation, which is where you kind of highlight the problem that the particular user is facing. So, are you facing these hen party challenges? And the truth is, all of them will be. This is their biggest problem, that they've been tasked with something they don't want to do, but they've got to do it anyway. So, struggling to find a unique activity for the hen party, worried about planning a day that everybody will enjoy, looking for a way to break the ice for the group. These are the typical things that Lindsay, my wife, hears over and over again from people that they're concerned about. So what we're doing, we're recognizing that those are those things, and we're getting those people slightly agitated because they're like reading the page and like, yeah, that's me, and I'm now feeling stressed. So at this point in the web page, you're actually trying to stress them out a little bit. But then you can back that up with, it doesn't have to be like that. Don't let the stress of the planning ruin your fun. And if you want, you can bring in a bit of personal branding in here. So you can see this is Lindsay Lacey, the senior hen party planner. So that's the pain and the agitation. Some people do this over multiple rows, depending on the product, depending on the user. If you've got lots of desktop users, you can probably get away with that. But as you saw, all of our users almost all of them are mobile users. So we've really got to get this nice and tight and in one screen, which I think is a good thing to do on almost any website as well. Okay, number 4, show the path to becoming the hero. This is also known as the process. Like, how does it work? What happens when I buy? So we've gone from the pain and the agitation to, but don't worry about this. You've got this, we got you. So be the hero of the hen party and book your dance class today. So this is how it works. You just have to pick your style, book your class, and dance and celebrate. It's that simple. So book your dance class today from just £24 per person. So that's all they've got to do to get rid of all that horrible stress and worry that they had before. Number 5, walk into the light. The solution. So this is finally where you kind of present what your actual product is. So you do need to show them the product, but it really is secondary to the solution that your product solves in their minds. So the solution that we're solving is the stress and making them the hero. And then we do have to kind of at least show them at some point, oh, and here are the things that you can choose from. But this is because on this particular step here, we've told them that they need to, number 1, pick their style. So we need to show them what the styles are. And this is where you can make it very compact, show them some of the top ones. And then we've got a little button here so they can click that. Doesn't take them off to another page, it's just a little pop-up with a list of all the 40 or 50 different options that they've got there. Okay, you won't be alone. The guide. So this is us as the brand. So here you can see, meet your dance class party planner. So this is then going back into here, look. You've got pick your style, which we looked at, book your class, and this is the book your class bit. This is where if they've got any questions, they know that they will be able to chat to Lindsay and her team on WhatsApp, email, or phone. And Lindsay is there to make your day a special one, to help advise you on different options to suit your group. So what you're telling the customer, if this is relevant to your customers, of course, it's not in every case, but if you've got a product like Vito and Andrew do, this is perhaps where you would talk about how great your support team is for them, or that there's like a course or something that you can watch once you've bought the product, which shows you how to onboard onto that particular product. And we give them here, because we know they're on phones, the option to ask any questions they want at this point on WhatsApp. And that's why if we go back a couple of slides, we've got on the mobile view, we've got our floating call to actions at all times. So they can book, or if they're not ready, they can ask a question. We've also found that as soon as people are talking to us on WhatsApp, it's a very high chance that they'll book. Sometimes even better than when they're clicking on forms and just inquiring, because we're able to answer their immediate questions right away on the phone. So let's go back to that one. Okay. Oh yeah, I put that slide there so I didn't have to do that actually. So I should rehearse better. Number 7, become the hero, call to action. So this is where you're basically telling the end user or the customer, just do it. Let's do it now, okay? So you've got the call to action, which can sometimes be a button, but in our case, the form is right there in the page, and they can simply just go through this thing that we tell them here. It's quick and easy, 60-second inquiry form. So they know they haven't even got to commit much time to it, because we've seen that that's a problem as well. Number 8, this is an optional one. I don't always see this mentioned in Storybrand examples and stuff, but we call it here the do not falter, too much is at stake. So it's reintroducing the stress, because we just presented them the form and they went past it. So like, hang on a minute, what's going on? You need to be stressed out again. So we need to reinforce the failure and the success and maybe contrast them at the same time. So don't let the stress of planning lead to a dull hen party because you just went past the form that we gave you, and you might be risking that. So there's the failure, and here's the success. Don't let the stress of planning lead to a dull hen party. Feel the excitement as the bride-to-be and her friends dance and laugh together. You'll have organized the perfect celebration. And then we'll give them those heroes who have come before that person again down there. So we'll give them the testimonials again so they can sort of see that it's all going to be fine. Right, number 9, some people call it FAQs, but typically it's like an objection type section. So it typically looks like an FAQ type section with questions and answers. This is really good for your SEO as well, because you can just pack this out with content rather than worrying about putting tons of text in all your kind of nicely designed mobile optimized rows. So one of the big questions we get is, do I have to pay all the money on behalf of my group? And the answer for us is no, they can all pay separately. So it takes the stress of, do I need to put up money for other people? Because a lot of the people who come to us tend to tell us how broke they are all the time, actually. So I think it's a thing nowadays, so I've heard. So this is where you kind of answer the objections, and you can present again the option to talk to us on WhatsApp, because what we'll typically find is, do I need to pay all the money for the group? It's there. So they click that and they say, do I need to pay the money for the group? So they're just not reading the text, but thankfully Google is, so that's useful for us. So we're presenting an option here to get rid of any objections. So these would not be kind of data sheet type information. You definitely put things at the top that typically somebody might object to purchasing your product, and you can give them a reason why that's not an objection. Okay, number 10, become the hero. So you can just give them the call to action once again. Just simple button, or whatever your call to action might be. In our case, that'll click and go back up to the page. And they do that, they fill in the form, and they're the hero of their own movie. I wish all movies would end with like a medal ceremony. When they win. Back in the good old days. So we're going to have a quick look at the design all put together. At least I'll try anyway, so let's see. Exit slideshow or exit full screen? Alrighty. Okay, so you kind of saw it all kind of broken up there, but now you can see how a page like this might look. So we've got the number 1 section here with the testimonials, followed by the pain and agitation, followed by the method or the process, followed by the solution, followed by the guide, followed by the call to action, followed by the success and failure in contrast, followed by the objections, and finally the call to action once again. And because I knew Paul was doing a talk about personalization today, I put a little line in here just to give a nod towards that, which says here, hey, welcome back. I have a special offer for you today. Book with just a £10 deposit, because our deposits, I think, I can't remember, they're £25 or something like that, or £24. We get feedback that that's too much, and that the person who is even in this stressful situation is telling us things like, I don't get paid till end of the month, and I don't know if that's just if that's always true. But that's the kind of thing we hear. So if someone is kind of hovering, sorry, what did you say? No, it's okay. Yeah, there you go. So we can do things with personalization if we wanted to, by recognizing that somebody has at least come back to the page. We've already put them through the pain of, because it is painful going through our page, put the pain of going through that, and there maybe their big objection is just pulling the trigger to make that deposit. So if we think that that is something worth trying, then we can present them an option to get a cheaper deposit, or whatever our offer might want to be. One of the other things we've found as well, sometimes incentives. Sometimes you can kind of bribe somebody, like, you get a free something, you do, not your group, you get a voucher for being the booker, and you can spend that on whatever you want. You don't even have to tell your group about it. You just kind of got a prize for doing that. So let's see if we can get back onto this. Is this here thing? Enter full screen. Okay. So that was the screen all together. And the next step really for this would be to A/B split test it. I'll be very disappointed if this page doesn't perform as well as our old data sheet page. If it doesn't, I'll let Dan know, so you can all forget everything that I told you today and try something different. But that would be the thing to do. If you've got something that you know is probably ineffective, and then you try and do something that's effective, split test it, and hopefully you'll be celebrating a better conversion rate on whatever it is that you're doing. So I really briefly covered some of these frameworks today, and I don't expect everybody to remember any of those 10 points. But the fact is, if you just remember that these frameworks exist, then you can look for those frameworks. Pain, Agitate, Solution, Storybrand, like I say, is probably my favorite one. Because the thing about Storybrand, it's very geared towards websites. So it's kind of got a very landing page type framework on it. So you really just need to know that those exist. And then when you do, whether you're the copywriter or the business or the web designer, try to get all the stakeholders who are involved in this on board, so that you're all understanding that you're all kind of aiming towards the same strategy. I've done this with pharmaceutical industry a fair bit, where there's a lot of scientists, and their main thing that they need is investors. But they simply cannot think in a marketing way. They are just pure academic scientists. I showed them this approach, they got it. And their website is far more engaging than a lot of their competition. ChatGPT is your friend. If you don't have a copywriter, then you can literally ask ChatGPT, I tried this, do you know about the Storybrand framework? And it will say yes. They'll outline the whole thing for you. You can even then say, oh, that's great. Can you apply the Storybrand framework to my hen party dance class product? And I did that, and it came out with something very close to what I ended up doing. So I don't suggest necessarily that you go word for word, but if you don't know where to start, which is what a lot of people are in that situation, then you can ask ChatGPT for some inspiration. And then if you get to a particular section, like the success and failure section, you can say, hey, you know that thing that you gave me on that? Can you give me another 10 examples? similar to that I can see as different variations. So you can, if you're a designer and you think it's not your job to do the copywriting, that's okay, but make it your job, because what you'll find is that you'll get more designs signed off by your client the first time you show them something. Because when a client is looking at your work, they sometimes don't know what they're looking at. They're comparing it to other websites, but when they see the things that they know about their customers reflected in your design, they'll really be engaged with the design that you've done. And the minor things about colors and making the logo a lot bigger will be, less of a problem as they tend to typically be. So if you're a copywriter, ChatGPT is probably still your friend as well. You can just get some initial ideas. Right, inspirational resources. Like I say, you can search for Storybrand. You can search for Storybrand wireframes, and you'll find tons of examples of landing pages in all sorts of different industries and niches that already have kind of a good idea of what you might want to do. The other resources as well, I actually created for Beaver Builder a list of a set of wireframes that they sell. They sell it for $99. There's something like 110 different rows. So there's a whole bunch of these ones, the hero one. There's a whole bunch of the products, a whole bunch of the guide, etc. The testimonials, the objections, whatnot. I have actually uploaded the screenshots of all of these in a zip file to my website. So if anybody wants to download all of the thumbnails, you can kind of just use them as a kind of starting point for your next project. So I can't give you, unfortunately, the product. It's not mine to give away, but I can give you the thumbnail. So if you go to paullacey.digital/WPLDN.zip, then you can just download all the thumbnails. And what you could even do if you wanted was print them out and just shuffle them around the table with a client. Go, how about this, and then this, and this, and this. That's pretty much it, really. So yeah, any questions?